Today we are looking at Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is a classic and should be read in its entirety. Today we are breaking each chapter down and giving its key point. Part 1. Fundamental Techniques in Handling People. If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. Key point. Avoid criticizing, condemning, or complaining. Example, Abraham Lincoln's letter to General Meade after the Battle of Gettysburg was never sent because it was critical and Lincoln realized the importance of not condemning publicly. The big secret of dealing with people. Key point. Give honest and sincere appreciation. Example, Charles Schwab's ability to appreciate his employees earned him a $1 million salary in the early 1900s. He who can do this has the whole world with him. He who cannot walks a lonely way. Key point. Arouse in the other person an eager want. Example, Harry A. Overstreet's explanation that understanding what others want is key to influence. Part 2. 6 ways to make people like you. Do this and you'll be welcome anywhere. Key point. Become genuinely interested in other people. Example, the dog who shows interest in its owner always gets attention and affection. A simple way to make a good first impression. Key point. Smile. Example, the influence of a genuine smile was illustrated through the story of a New York telephone operator who improved her job performance by smiling during calls. If you don't do this, you are headed for trouble. Key point. Remember that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest sound in any language. Example, Andrew Carnegie's success in business by remembering and using people's names. An easy way to become a good conversationalist. Key point. Be a good listener and encourage others to talk about themselves. Example, a friend who gained another's favor simply by listening and encouraging them to talk. How to interest people. Key point. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. Example, Theodore Roosevelt's preparation before meeting people by studying their interests. How to make people like you instantly. Key point. Make the other person feel important, and do it sincerely. Example, the author's experience of treating a poor market clerk as if she were a queen. Part 3. How to win people to your way of thinking. You can't win an argument. Key point. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Example, the futility of arguments illustrated by Carnegie's own experiences and historical references. A sure way of making enemies, and how to avoid it. Key point. Show respect for the other person's opinions. Never say, "You're wrong." Example, Benjamin Franklin's success in diplomacy by not directly contradicting others. If you're wrong, admit it. Key point. If you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Example, Carnegie's story of a policeman letting him go without a ticket because he admitted his mistake. A drop of honey. Key point. Begin in a friendly way. Example, Lincoln's use of friendly tactics in dealing with his opponents. The secret of Socrates. Key point. Get the other person saying, yes, yes, immediately. Example, using the Socratic method to achieve agreement. The safety valve in handling complaints. Key point. Let the other person do a great deal of the talking. Example, a sales manager allowing a dissatisfied customer to air their grievances, leading to a resolution. How to get cooperation. Key point. Let the other person feel that the idea is theirs. Example, the author's strategy in getting his own way by making others think it was their idea. A formula that will work wonders for you. Key point. Try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. Example, effective negotiation by understanding and addressing the other party's needs and perspectives. What everybody wants. Key point. Be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. Example, the importance of empathy in customer service. An appeal that everybody likes. Key point. Appeal to the nobler motives. Example, Carnegie's story of a department store owner who turned a confrontation into a positive outcome by appealing to a man's noble motives. The movies do it. TV does it. Why don't you do it? Key point. Dramatize your ideas. Example, successful salespeople who use dramatization to make their points more compelling. When nothing else works, try this. Key point. Throw down a challenge. Example, Charles Schwab's use of competition to motivate workers. Part 4. Be a leader. How to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. If you must find fault, this is the way to begin. Key point. Begin with praise and honest appreciation. Example, the effectiveness of starting with positive feedback before offering criticism. How to criticize, and not be hated for it. Key point, call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Example, using the sandwich method of feedback, with positive remarks framing the critique. Talk about your own mistakes first. Key point, talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. Example, a leader sharing their own similar mistakes to soften the impact of criticism. No one likes to take orders. Key point, ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Example, using questions to guide people to the correct solution without issuing commands. Let the other person save face. Key point, let the other person save face. Example, avoiding public embarrassment to maintain the other person's dignity. How to spur people on to success. Key point, praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. Example, a coach who focuses on incremental progress and improvement. Give a dog a good name. Key point, give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. Example, reframing someone's identity to encourage positive behavior change. Make the fault seem easy to correct. Key point, use encouragement. Make the fault seem easy to correct. Example, a teacher who breaks down a complex task into manageable steps. Making people glad to do what you want. Key point, make the other person happy about doing the thing you suggest. Example, a leader who frames tasks in a way that aligns with the other person's interests and values.